Welcome to Nonstop. It's the official and season show of Kirk, Herbstreit, and Joey Galloway. Your first stop for all things football, college and pro, every Monday.
All right, Joey, another Monday. Lots to talk about. College football with 2 weeks remaining. And we have rivalry weekend, really not rivalry Saturday. There's so many massive games coming up on Friday and Saturday. It's November 24th. Like I said, we have just 2 weeks left. We have rivalry weekend, and then we get right into championship weekend with so many conference championships. Joey, you guys had another busy weekend on your show. How things going, my man?
Everything is good. This is last weekend is one of those weekends where you're like, just get through it.
Yeah.
Can we just move on? Like most of the highlights we talked about just pertain to who the team plays next.
Yeah.
SEC teams played nobody. Ohio State played nobody. It is like, let's get to business, which is this weekend.
Yeah, and we'll look ahead. I just wanted to touch on Oregon against USC. I thought that was a big win, obviously, for the Ducks. They had an opportunity to get challenged. SC, we didn't really know how good they were. What are they, a real threat? Pretty competitive early, and then Oregon just had too many big plays. And I thought their defense did a good job of taking away SC's run game and getting Maava into some obvious passing situations. Their defense was the difference in playing at Autzen. Oklahoma, we knew that was a tricky one. Kind of a sleepy 11 a.m., yet another ranked team that Oklahoma has to play. Could they endure that? And again, they don't have a ton on offense right now, but their defense is probably the best in the country, and they did what they had to do. So there's a couple games like
yes, a couple.
BYU against Cincinnati, but overall, anything change your mind about any of your opinions, or did you just think it was kind of business as usual, kind of what you expected?
Georgia Tech, out of all the things I saw, Georgia Tech surprised me. Not that they lost, because I think Pitt is a talented football team that could beat anybody, but the way Georgia Tech played, the way the game started, then they battled back in. They got a shot. They get a 28-14, and then the pick six, which is a really bad pick six. It's not one of those great play, great break, great moment that creates a pick six. It was just a bad decision by Haynes King, which you hate to see because
the year he's had.
Both of us have been huge Haynes King fans. So you hate to see that for him, but great for Pitt. I agree with you on the Oregon USC game. Oregon handled their business. Everyone's waiting on Oregon to be challenged. We all talked about their resume having nothing on it, and they're still ranked number 7. So now at least we've seen them have to step up against a really good football team and get a win in that game. And then Oklahoma's defense continues. For the second week in a row, they block a field goal. They get a couple turnovers. When you look at the offensive stats, you're like, man, how are they winning? Missouri had more yards than Oklahoma again. And you're like, man, somehow this defense is finding a way in the key moments to make plays and get a couple turnovers and find a way to win. So they look like a team that's going to get in. They great for them. They've been through a gauntlet. And we talked early on that gauntlet was coming. They came on the backside and they're in it.
Yeah. I mean, and they've been doing it, like you said, defense, special teams. We've seen teams over the years win that way, but considering the schedule they've had to play and the teams they've had to play, and even on the places that they've had to play, it's been brutal. We looked at their schedule back at the beginning of the season in August and thought, what's their record going to be? I think a lot of people thought 7-5 was realistic. Maybe 6-6 was realistic, and yet here they are. They got an LSU team that's been through a lot themselves, firing Brian Kelly, making a lot of changes. Looks like they're kind of limping to the finish line unless something crazy happens. Oklahoma's going to get to 10-2 and definitely have a spot in the college football playoff. I think the game of the weekend, I don't know how many people saw it. To me, it was Utah and Kansas State. Utah ranked 12th.
Yeah.
Kansas State, 5-5, but always dangerous, especially when, they are underestimated. And I don't think Utah underestimated them. I just think Kansas State put it together and ended up being a shootout. It looked like Kansas State in the fourth quarter, they were up, I think, 10. I think it was like 47-37. They had pulled away. I thought the game was over. and give the Utes who are hanging in there. They want to be considered, if they don't make it to Arlington, looks like BYU and Texas Tech are going to rematch after BYU went to Cincinnati and to Nippert and won that game. So Utah trying to hang in there to make a case for an at-large, and obviously couldn't afford a loss and fought back and won that game late, 51-47.
Dude,
over Kansas State.
The crazy part is when you say shootout, you think that means throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Passing. It was, I think Kansas State had over 400 yards of rushing. And Utah had like 270 some rushing. Like, you don't see shootouts that are running the football, but this one was, and it was crazy. It felt like it was over a few different times.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then you pop off this huge run. It's like, we got a game here. And this is one of those ones that when we're sitting in studio, and I mentioned this, like, we look for live lines in the middle of games. It's like, where can you get in? I jumped in because the line on Georgia Tech got up to, I think, 23.5. Georgia Tech plus 23.5. I'm like, I'm jumping in. And the Utah Kansas State game, same kind of thing.
Same deal.
Yeah, jump in on that, and it's like, you could make you a couple, make you some lunch money. Get a sandwich or something on that.
Well, that was probably the game that stood. I called Tennessee, Florida. Florida obviously had one of those years you'd love to forget about. They're going to hire a new coach at some point here in the next week or so. And Tennessee, man, they had no pity.
That's all you're gonna give that. You're not gonna.
Tennessee had no what?
You're not going to speculate on the coach situation.
It's all Lane Kiffin. When I was in Gainesville, all I heard.
Hey, dude.
All I hear is Lane Kiffin.
It's
Lane
so
Kiffin.
funny when
Lane Kiffins to go to all these different schools.
When I throw one at you, that's a little. Your immediate reaction is this.
I'm not touching it. You tell me. First of all, where's Lane going to go? LSU? Everyone assumes LSU.
Oh, really? I think Lane should stay. I think he should stay at Ole Miss.
I agree with that.
On College Football Final, we talked about that, and I said Florida just because why not? But I think he should stay at Ole Miss. And I didn't know if you had some inside information.
I have nothing.
Who's next? Here's a crazy part to me, and maybe this information out there. Who's next? There's only one Lane Kiffin. We got 3 schools that are saying we want Lane Kiffin. What are the other 2 going to do?
I asked a lot of prominent alums when I was down in Gainesville. I'm talking a couple guys that won Heisman trophies, and I said, I know everybody wants Lane. Let's just say Lane doesn't come. He stays at Ole Miss, or he goes to LSU. Who's the next guy? They're like, there isn't a next guy.
They did your move?
I think they're all in on, because at Florida, because of Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer, like, I don't think they just want to hire a coach. I think they're really interested in getting a big personality. Like, I think Lane Kiffin, like, you couldn't, Central Casting couldn't pick up a better coaching candidate for Florida. And I think a lot of their fan base's mind, not only does he score points, but he's on Twitter and he's jabbing at other coaches and players. And I just think they really like that because of their past with mainly with Steve Spurrier. And so I'm just saying, I hope he goes there. I hope he stays personally at Ole Miss. But if he goes to Gainesville, great. What if he doesn't? So then I think it's,
that's the thing. I haven't heard anything else.
Jeff Brom at Louisville, Clark Lee at Vandy. Both those guys are at their alma maters. I don't know. I'm not saying they wouldn't leave.
That makes more sense to me. And this is what I mentioned before about these guys. If you take a guy and give him more resources and say, hey, listen, he could win at this place with less resources. We're going to give him more resources and bring him over. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
The Lane Kiffin thing, does Florida have more resources than Ole Miss, or does LSU have more resources than Ole Miss? That part of it I don't quite understand, but I just haven't heard another name out there. I feel like there's 3 schools that are waiting on Lane Kiffin and there's only one Lane Kiffin, and there's going to be 2 schools going somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I just don't think it's going to be fun because that's a massive domino. By the way, how about being Lane Kiffin? How about trying to win the Egg Bowl to go 11-1, which is probably one of the best years they've had in school history.
Yes.
And he loves this team, and he wants to win this championship right now. But with the system and the timing of everything, the way it currently is, he's got to make a decision. Ole Miss told him Saturday, that's it. We need to know what's up the day after the Egg Bowl. This guy potentially, if he doesn't stay, he could go this is a tough game in Starkville, but if he wins, he could go 11-1, secure a spot in the CFP, have to notify the school that maybe he's going to go somewhere else. And then does the school let him stay and coach into their magical season the way Scott Frost did at UCF when they won, all their games? They allowed him to stay before he left to go to Nebraska. Or do you think, get out of here? If you don't want to be here, we don't want you here. Get out of here. And then they name an assistant coach. And then does that impact them in the CFP rankings?
Yeah.
Because, if a player, it's one of those 4 stipulations. If a player or a coach is removed or injured or not able to participate, that could affect your rankings. It's just such a messy thing for Lane or any coach to be put in. The timing of this is awful because he's going to go from being a hero to potentially being, I don't know, just looked at as, we don't want to ever see you. Don't ever come back.
He'll be hated. I would love in these situations if someone would ask the players, get the team together and say, let's say Lane is leaving. Let's just go with that. Lane, let's play along and say Lane is leaving. But we're in the playoff. I would love to see the coaches, the admin, whoever it is, get the players together and let them vote on whether they want him to stay and coach them through the playoff and knowing that he's leaving, or would they rather have an assistant coach, somebody else that's on staff right now who could honestly be leaving also. You just never know if that guy's even going to be there. But I think it should be a player decision on whether he stays or not. Because, listen, adults are going to have their feelings. And if he was leaving and I was in admissions, I would have feelings about it too. I would be bothered. I'd be like, get out of here. But the players are the ones that are like, they're with him every day. They came there to be to play for him. I think they should decide on whether he stays if he makes a decision to go somewhere else.
Here's my theory, and I talked to a coach involved in this, and I think it's accurate. You and I think alumni, they look at a situation like this, and I think it's a little personal. It's like, hey, if he's taking that whatever job, good riddance, get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here.
We want a guy that's all in. But I think if you bring up a good point about the players, the players in 2025 are very, very different because of the world they've kind of grown up in this system. It's weird to think this. It's a year-to-year relationship. A lot of these guys look at it not the way you and I did. I'm here for 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is. This is more of I'm here for this year. This is my team this year.
Yes.
So they look at the run that this team, a lot of them are transfer portal guys. They look at this year as, hey, Lane, we want you to stay with us for this year and let's finish this thing. Let's go win a championship this year.
Yes.
And then when it's over, you're going to LSU or wherever he's going. I'm going to go over here. Like, it's sad that that's the way it is. But I think you have to view it. I think your point about looking at it from the player's perspective. If we took a poll, if I were the AD, I'd say, guys, I don't agree with this, but this is your world. Do you guys look at this as 2025 season? Do you want him to stay and be your coach? I guarantee it'd be a unanimous, absolutely.
Yes.
We're all in this for this year. Let's finish it together.
Our best chance. Our best chance to win is him stay. Because half of us are leaving anyhow. Because that's the way.
I know. Isn't that awful? It's awful.
they're like,
so sad.
Yeah, we're not mad that he's leaving because
we're all leaving too.
We're all leaving too. Let's run it. Let's go.
It's like a summer 7-on-7 team. That's what college football.
Absolutely right.
It's a summer. You're going to play on this 7-on-7 team. I don't know. I think I'll go over here. Maybe play with this.
I'm switching up mid-season. I might switch. Hell, hey, listen. When are we going to start letting players switch mid-season? We're firing coaches mid-season. We're firing coaches mid-season.
Yeah.
Can the player get up and go mid-season?
So, no. By the way, I think I think of this new world. We just kind of assume when teams are out of the CFP, they cash in, they're out. Mm-hmm. Have you been watching some of these teams that have nothing to play for?
Mm-hmm.
Just battling their asses off. Like when you watch Kansas State, they're 5-5. Like the notion or the kind of the reaction to nobody cares. I disagree with that. I mean, I'm watching so many games with teams that, again, quote unquote, have nothing to play for. And every time I turn on a game, there's teams that are around 500 that are trying to get the 6th or 7th win. Look what Wisconsin's done the last couple of weeks. You know, look at Clemson and what they've done. It just seems like every week, I think we all need to stop just almost looking at this in this transactional world of players just care about their money. Players just care about they're in it for as long as their team's good, then they're out. Man, we're seeing countless examples of somehow these coaches doing a really good job of keeping these players engaged and battling. And I think it's cool to see.
Here's another part of that, what you're talking about, that the NIL brings into the case, or the transfer portal more so. In the NFL, when we would be in a situation where our team was out of it, but you're still playing for free agency. You're still playing for, I'm still putting tape out there for some guys who are the guys that had long-term contracts, different. Now that the portal is involved in college, you are still playing. Unfortunately, I don't love this idea, but it adds it in there. Whereas if you're a kid from K-State right now and you're out of it, the portal is coming. So you still want to put out good stuff because you would love to have the opportunity to go somewhere, make some NIL money, get in the portal, or make NIL money there. That is one of the good things. And I'm not saying that that's all of it, but that adds to the incentive to go out here and keep playing, because before we're playing for, end of the season, we hit the winter conditioning, hit spring ball, run this back. Now, man, with so many guys leaving, so many guys in the portal, you ain't just running through it, get to the end and run it back. It's every game.
I think that's true. And again, it is kind of sad to think that, but I think you still have to, regardless of if it's individual motivation for NIL or the portal, at the end of the day, it's a team sport. So you still have to get guys to listen in meetings and buy in and play together. You know what I mean? It's one thing to play, not really be dialed in during practice. I'll turn it on Saturday. But when you watch some of these teams play, you could tell that there's an investment in what's the plan going through practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Who knows what kind of outside noise they're hearing about the games don't matter. What are you guys doing? And it seems like every week, and I watch, like you, a ton of games every week.
Yeah.
And it isn't always teams in a top 5 or 10 in the CFP rankings. And I just felt like, I keep thinking it. I just felt like we needed to talk about how it's been fun to watch teams, to the credit of these coaches and players, when it feels like we live in this, are you in the NCAA tournament like March Madness, or are you in the NIT? Because you know how we all feel about the NIT. It's like you don't even know the NIT's going on because you're dialed into March Madness. And it's kind of how college football is beginning to feel with, are you in the 12? Are you out of the 12? And it takes a lot of fortitude to be able to, when you're out of the 12, to continue to go out there and invest during the week to go out and play well. And I'm just seeing countless examples of it. And I think it's great to see. Let's, we only have another 40 minutes. We're going to look, usually we talk about what happened last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
we just talked about there aren't a ton of games. I think you and I need to talk about some of the games Friday, some of the games Saturday, just kind of get our initial thoughts. But before that, CFP rankings, you're going to do the show again tomorrow night.
Yep.
We have 2 weeks left. They have to react to last week's results. I don't know if we're going to see a ton of changes. I continue to feel that Notre Dame, Miami seems to be probably the hottest topic. Another topic seems to be if the Big 12 or the ACC, could they possibly get more than one? Could you have a scenario where you could get a Utah in as an at-large? Could you get maybe BYU upsets Texas Tech, where you get 2 from the Big 12? The ACC, of course, whoever ends up getting to Charlotte, the winner of that game is in. And you got Miami just kind of hovering. Last week, I think they were at 13. We'll see what the committee thinks of them this week. And you and I continue to say, and everybody continues to say, until Notre Dame and Miami get close enough within a spot or two where the head-to-head would matter. For now, they're, four spots away, 4 or 5 spots away. So it doesn't really come into play. But I know Miami fans want it to come into play. I personally think the only way Miami gets in is they finish 10-2. They beat Pitt, who's coming off a huge win. That would bounce them. I mean, that's it. That would be an impressive win. Mm-hmm. And then they have to get in with Notre Dame. I just don't think it's going to get to a point they're in, Notre Dame's out, or Notre Dame's in, Miami's out. I think Miami's best hope is a lot of things have to happen in order for them to continue to climb, and then for them to have a chance to get in as an at-large. I just think Notre Dame's too far up for Notre Dame to, at the end of this, be 10-2, just based on the rankings. I just think it's going to be hard to imagine Notre Dame being left out.
I agree with you, especially when Notre Dame looks the way Notre Dame looks.
Yeah.
If Notre Dame
nothing into the first quarter.
I think it's like 70-7 at the end of that. If Notre Dame didn't look the way they're looking, then we might have a conversation. But they look, and again, this committee has said the eye test has become important. It's one of those things that is definitely factored in. And I don't know that you could look much better than 70-7. And just for funsies, I went back and looked to see when Miami played Syracuse. And I think the score was like 38-10 or something like that. And so for one of those things, just comparative type of stuff, when you look at like opponents, what did you do against this same opponent?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. Notre Dame looks like a really good football team. The gap is in the way of Miami. It just is. They would have to get closer. They would have to get next to Notre Dame, which I just don't. 1 week left. Even if they beat Pitt, I can't see that gap being closed. Notre Dame has Stanford.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's at home or on the road.
I think it's on the road. Doesn't matter.
I'm with you. They got to get in together.
That's the only chance. I don't think it's going to come down to an either or. I think it's either they're both in, or Miami, unfortunately.
For Miami fans, get the either or out of your head.
Yeah.
Just forget about the either or. It's not the question. It's not even on the table.
I think it's more about looking at other conferences, like, with Oregon winning. You have Ohio State, Michigan this week. If Ohio State were to lose that game and Michigan were to win, and then Oregon were to lose to Washington in Seattle, which could happen, Michigan could still end up in Indianapolis and playing in the Big Ten championship. No one's even thinking of Michigan sitting down there at 18. But if they got hot and won that game and Oregon lost, they could find themselves in Indy. So, and if I'm a Miami fan, that's not good. Like,
not good.
You don't want things like that happening to potentially get a 4th Big Ten team in. So right now you're looking at 3. These are all just, kind of looking at the possibility the way it stands right now. I think it's more about a team like Alabama. You start to look for those at-large teams.
Yes.
Who are the at-large teams that Miami could try to box out? And you're looking at possibly Alabama. You're looking at Oklahoma. You're looking at Oregon. These are all at-large teams that you would, because group of 5 is a lock. Notre Dame more than likely. It's hard to imagine. We just talked about Miami getting close enough to bounce them out.
They need Utah to lose. Like, they need all of these 2-loss teams above them. That's who they need to lose.
Yeah.
They need Oklahoma to go down. Like, they need Alabama to go down. I don't even think the 1-loss teams are falling behind Miami. So if the 1-loss teams lose, I don't think they're falling beyond Miami, who is sitting at 13. I think they would have to get like BYU could. You know what I mean? Like, they could fall behind them. But yeah, they need some real live carnage to happen at the top for them to get close.
Yeah, and let's go back to real quick on this. Let's go back to, well, they beat them head to head. So why are we even talking about this? I guess my question to you on that would be, at what point does head to head not matter? Like, if Miami were 6-6 and they beat Notre Dame, should they still be in over Notre Dame because they beat them head to head? Obviously, the answer is no.
Right.
They're 7-5. Should they be then? 8-4, 9-3. Like, when do you feel that the head to head should not matter? Like, for me, Miami, because I've loved Miami. I mean, I love you and I grew up with Miami being Miami. I've always loved the Canes, just the way I've been. But I can't help but look at a game against Louisville, who's a decent team. They're heavily favored. It was a competitive game, but they self-destructed. They had 4 turnovers in that game. They had 4 interceptions in that game. Like, that has to count, right? And then they go to SMU, and they play in a game, again, very close game, played well enough to give themselves a chance to win, but again, found a way to lose a game late. SMU scores in overtime and ends up winning that game. In a game, both those games, you could make a case that Miami should have won and very easily could have won.
Yes.
But self-destructed. And so I guess what I'm saying is there needs to be a penalty for losing 2 games and self-destructing in a couple of those games against quality opponents. But like, when you're weighing this as a committee, I think the optics of how they lost those 2 games is hard to ignore. And then you want to say, well, they beat Notre Dame head to head, so they have to be better than Notre Dame in a game that they won week 1 in a very competitive, I think it was 27-24, but they won. At some point, that head to head does not matter. It matters, but it doesn't come into play because you have 2 losses that are hard to explain because they're games you were in control of and could have won, and you self-destructed to lose those games. So I think that's the penalty for losing those 2 games. The head
2 losses
has not come into play.
Yeah, 2 losses that came in a span of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
To unranked teams. Those teams are not ranked. And so when you look at,
I think they're pretty good teams. I think especially SMU. For me.
Okay.
Louisville's okay. SMU is pretty good.
I'm not saying they're not good teams. What I am saying is
they're
not ranked.
Right.
And in this world, when we're doing metrics and we talk ranked wins and these kind of things, but that's not really the point to me. At some point in time, a team was better than the other team. In the first 2 weeks of the season, Miami was a better football team than Notre Dame. There's no question they were better. They beat them.
Yep.
They looked better. They played better. Carson Beck was on fire earlier. That doesn't carry you through the season. That doesn't mean that Notre Dame didn't get better and Miami didn't get worse. So as we sit here today and we've been through however many games, you get to this point, it isn't just that you won here and you're just better for the entire season. You were better here. But where are we 8, 9, 10 weeks later after we've now watched you play? And if anybody, including Miami fans, if you watch your team play and watch Notre Dame play, and you can't be honest with yourself and say that is a much better football team than they were in week was that week 1 or week 2? I can't remember
week
which.
one. It was
Sunday
week
night
1.
On that absolutely right.
Weekend.
Yep. You're not being honest with yourself if you can't look at this Notre Dame team and say, hey, that team is better now than they were when we beat them in week 1. And we, the Miami Hurricanes, aren't quite playing as well as we did early in the season. Now we're starting to
crank it up,
starting to not look at like the same football team that we did, which, in the past weekend, when you watched the Miami game, it looked like they were going to blow them out. And then the next thing you know, we have a game. You know what I mean? Like, it's like it shouldn't have been, but it then turns into a game, which Miami added a late touchdown with like
about a little over a minute ago.
Yeah, they throw a ball, comical, to get it to 34-17. Not that it just didn't look as impressive.
Yeah.
But it's okay. 2 years in a row, Miami's had their opportunity and they sort of
well, that's the thing. They've been right on the cusp, and I think that's probably the frustrating thing. Now, we'll see. I mean, there's still 2 weeks to go of games. We'll see if they're able to get to that 10-2 mark. They have a tough game coming up this weekend. Speaking of games for this weekend, I mean, how great is this? How great is Friday? You got Ole Miss and Mississippi State early. Utah plays early. Georgia plays Georgia Tech on Friday. We all remember that game a year ago in Athens. Now they're going to Atlanta. Massive for both these teams, especially Georgia Tech sitting there on the outside now. Be interesting to see after their loss to Pitt where they go. But
they haven't looked good in the last month. I don't know what. Honestly, I think since you ranked them in your top 5, they haven't looked. Well, they have not looked good.
They lost to NC State. They almost lost at Boston College.
Yes.
And their defense has just given up a ton of big plays. So
yes, they have not looked good.
Yeah, so we'll see. But they more than likely are still going to have a shot to get to the ACC championship. And if they win that game, they're in. Texas A&M in Texas. Are you kidding me? Friday night. How big of a game is that?
Huge.
And off the radar for me, Arizona is having an awesome year. Congratulations to the Wildcats. They're 8-3. They go to Arizona State, who's 8-3. So that's an awesome game late on Friday night. And then Saturday, Ohio State, Michigan. We talked about Miami and Pitt. Oregon, Washington, if you're not from that region, that is a nasty, nasty rivalry. Oklahoma looks to finish it off. Vandy and Tennessee. How big of a game is that? Vandy at 9-2, chance to get to 10 wins, and they got to go to Knoxville.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Because I used to call games a little bit. I don't call them anymore. You guys don't invite me any longer. Is there how does this work in TV game world? Is there a camera on Pavia's mother the entire game?
That's a director's decision.
But I know you're busy.
No,
I know you're watching.
Yeah. No, I see the camera cut to her a lot.
I mean, it is almost like we're seeing as much of her as we're seeing. It's like she's who's Kelsey dating?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. It's like that's the same level of. I was just wondering, just a question. Not saying it gets on my nerves, just asking a question. Is there a camera? Like, is there a cameraman that is sitting there the entire game like this?
No, but I think he does this. I think and then as soon as something big happens.
Then soon as something big happens, he has to turn. Boom. Touchdown happens. Okay. And then the director says,
cut to that camera for reaction.
Vandy scored on Saturday. And before we could get the kids' reaction, the ball, whatever he's going to do, before we could get that, I was like, interesting. So that's just a question.
But that is a crew by crew decision.
Oh,
so I don't know who was doing that game. I'm not sure.
Who's doing the Vandy Tennessee game?
I think that's an ESPN 3:30 game on Saturday.
Can you put in a request
to not do that?
Not every play. I love the story. I love the family. It's great.
Not every time.
Play. That's all I'm asking.
I don't know whose crew is doing that.
Okay. All right.
You can find that out. You work there too. You can find that. You can find that out. What are your thoughts on, by the way, Alabama Auburn also at the end of the night? Fowler and I will be down there. That's a 7:30 Eastern game on ABC, and it's scary. Anytime, that's kind of like Ohio State, Michigan. Whoever has everything to lose, and the other team has nothing to lose. In this game, Auburn, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, seen way too many examples of upsets happening. And Auburn down there, they don't have their head coach, DJ Durkin, doing a good job as the interim. They played a freshman quarterback last week. They're going to go back to their guy, I think, this week. But on paper, anytime on paper in a rivalry game, it's a blowout. Oh, does that make you nervous?
I would love to say like they have no shot, but I've seen Alabama, like even last year with Oklahoma, they just got to beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma team that was 500 last year. Like I've seen Alabama, even this season they go and they play Oklahoma at home and they just don't have their fastball. So I've seen Alabama these past few years not have their fastball sometimes. I would love to say Auburn has no shot.
I don't think that's the case.
I don't think that's the case.
And if you're a Miami fan, go buy your Auburn gear.
100%.
Go
to the game and root for Auburn.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Ohio State and Michigan? Are the Ohio State receivers just resting? Tate and Jeremiah Smith, are they going to be okay? You and I, because of our past, we always, and plus Michigan's won 4 in a row. They're trying to make it 5 in a row, which is amazing. It seems like in this rivalry, it's kind of streaky. To go back to John Cooper, then you go to Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer, and now what we've seen with Ryan Day. Michigan, I think, goes into this game with a great deal of confidence because of the way they've approached it the last few years and had success. Like Ohio State, I'm sure in their mind, their players are approaching this thinking that this is the year that they end the streak. They probably will go in. Remember last year, they kind of went in with almost a coaching and playing not to lose mentality. If you look and evaluate the film of the Ohio State Michigan last year, and you look at the same team and the way they threw the ball against Tennessee and Oregon and Texas and Notre Dame, it was like almost watching two different teams. It was like they were trying, let's just not make mistakes. Let's just win. Let's be careful. And Michigan, to their credit, they won the line of scrimmage on both sides and ended up finding a way to win that game. I wonder how Ryan Day will approach it this year. You got to believe they'll be more like hey, let's be aggressive. Let's be who we are, you would think. And are they healthy enough at receiver to do that? And can they, it's a hostile environment. This will be their biggest test, I think, that they've had all year. Everybody said they haven't really played anybody other than Texas week 1. This will be the ultimate test, I think, for Julian Sayin and the Ohio State offense, dealing with the atmosphere and the Michigan defense. That'll be sky high for this one.
Let me say this about Jeremiah Smith, and I don't have any insider information. I try my best not to have any insider information because I don't want to be responsible for it. So 1,000 people have asked me, is he healthy? Is he good to go? I don't know. I purposely do not know. What I will say is, when you see videos of him walking, it doesn't look great. Like it looks like I thought initially it was like, hey, tweak something.
Yeah, rest up, get ready for Michigan.
Yeah, just rest up, get ready. The past 2 weeks, there's been video of him walking that looks like video doesn't look great. That's all I know. I don't know what it is. I'm not even gonna try to guess. But there is something there that I didn't realize initially when 2 weeks ago when he didn't play in the second half.
Well, that if that's the only video I've seen is him walking around in that second half. That was a huge limp. I mean, that was a very noticeable limp.
It was very noticeable, and it was noticeable this week. Maybe you know.
I don't know anything.
I don't know. It just doesn't look great. I don't see Michigan being able to win the line of scrimmage this year. That's what they did in past years.
Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, those guys were beasts.
They won the line of scrimmage.
NFL now. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see them being able to do that. It would take sort of a collapse, so to speak. It would take Alabama, Oklahoma type of throwing a pick six, turning the ball over, fumbling a punt, those kind of things. Don't see it happening. I feel like there's less pressure on this Ohio State team now than there was last year. Last year, there was so much talk about the NIL money, how much they spent. They got to win every game. They got to win it all to justify this money. They went and bought a team. They brought in these guys.
By the way, they bought the existing players. You know, they brought in Caleb Downs.
Yes,
he brought in Will Howard, but they spent most of their money on the players that had been there for 3 years.
So you win a national championship. So it's like, hey, got our money's worth. We won a national title out of that one. This year around, it feels different. It feels like less pressure because they won a national championship. People want this win. Let me ask you this. If you could pick one, beat Michigan.
I don't like this game.
You don't like this game?
I've heard this game. I understand what you're trying to say. Beat Michigan or lose to Michigan, beat Michigan, and then have a terrible postseason.
No. This isn't a can I not have both? Can I not beat Michigan and win a national title? This is a question of, in today's world of where we are now, which one do you think the Columbus faithful would rather have? If they could have one, national title, beat Michigan, they can only have one. Which one you think 97-1 and the boys would take?
I think it's a split decision. I think I do, dude. I think 75-80% will take what happened last year.
Okay, you think it's 75-80%?
And I think 25% would say I just want to beat Michigan. I think they would say that. And what do you think the percentage is?
I think before the percentage would have been like
80% beat Michigan.
Yeah. I think now, after last season, after having a national title, I think people looking back would say we were happier to have won the national championship than if we had to beat Michigan and not won it. But now that they won a national championship, I think they'd flip it back and be like, give us the Michigan win where we got a national championship last year. Now give us Michigan and we'll be fine. That's just my guess.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it depends on your generation. I think a lot of people, they're in chat rooms, they get their feelings hurt. They want to beat Michigan at all costs, and doesn't matter what happens before that game, what happens after that game. They just want to be able to get on the chat thing and be able to have, hey, we told you we're better and we beat, I think there's a lot of people that are into that. And I think there's kind of the newer fan that thinks whether we win or we lose this game, we still got to get ready for the either Big Ten championship or the CFP. It's all about the CFP. I think that's what a lot of people learned last week. I don't care. For me, I want to see a great game.
Absolutely.
We got. I think there's snow in the forecast. Hopefully it's gray. It's dark. It's cold. The uniforms are awesome on the field.
I live back here.
I love it. Is it cold?
Yeah, I would don't bring up snow. I think we got a high of 35 tomorrow.
No, high of 35 there.
Yeah,
I looked it up in Ann Arbor already. High of 31.
Yeah,
and snow showers.
We're in that time of year when the sun doesn't come out. We just have straight clouds. Gets dark at 4 p.m. you're down here in Nashville. You know what I mean? Like you don't give a you don't give a you're just down there like country music,
Hey.
dogs running around, rolling in the leaves, and we're up here high of 35.
Hey, I know when the sun checks out right around the week before Halloween.
That's where we are.
Comes back for your golf game like early to mid-April. You'll see it.
Late April now.
Yeah.
Will be our first sighting of the sun that since a week ago. Yeah. That's us. So don't I can see like it's probably a little sunny down there. I can see the sun like shining through. You got some reflections on your pictures behind you. It's nice.
You wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like that. You'd like to golf. Hey, I'm going to give you a game. You tell me, just give me a winner. Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Can Lane and the Rebels block out all of the noise?
Blocking it out.
Tricky game. Cowbells. Mississippi State. You talking about wanting to beat a team? That's Mississippi State. They got a
Mississippi
chance.
State has played some teams tight. They've played some teams tight.
They're going to score. I mean, this is probably a shootout kind of game.
Take the over.
Take the over.
Yes.
Who wins the game? Can Lane finish this year 11-1?
Yes. Ole Miss wins the game. Okay. Absolutely.
I'm with you. I think they do. Georgia Tech in Atlanta, 3:30 on ABC. Who wins that one?
Georgia. I don't know what the spread is.
12.5.
Take the money. Give up the 12.5.
What's that mean? Take the money. What's that mean?
I think what people say is lay the points. I'm not 100% sure how that works.
So you think Georgia Tech keeps it closer at 12.5?
No. Other way.
Oh, you think Georgia? Okay, lay the points. You're saying they're going to blow them out.
I think that's what lay the points means.
Okay, all right. I don't know those terms either. Texas A&M, they're favored by 2.5. How about that? In Austin. Texas won a very close game a year ago with Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning. The offense got in gear last week. Can they beat Texas A&M at home? What a game that is going to be.
That's going to be this one might be my favorite, like the one I'm looking forward to watching.
Yeah. Yep. Who you got? Who you got?
I'm going to go A&M. Just because you purposely had Marcel Reed on here to make me like him. Yeah. Now I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
I'll go A&M because I think they're really talented. I like sounds like you disagree.
I think I'm with you, and it makes me nervous. But this is going to be I think the spread is all over it. I mean,
this one's going to be good.
I think it's a 3-point win for whoever wins. I think it's going to be very, very close. Saturday's games, Ohio State and Michigan in Ann Arbor, number 1 against number 18 as far as the AP. What do you think of this one?
What do you got on the spread? Ohio State wins. What's the spread?
Ohio State's favorite right now. I think it started around 12. It's all the way down to 9.5. And I bet you by Saturday, it'll be down to about 7. Would be my guess. Meaning everybody's betting Michigan.
Yeah. I was going to say Ohio State and lay the points till you just said that. Now I'm just taking Ohio State to win.
Yeah.
The point spread makes you nervous.
Yeah. Can Texas Tech, sounds crazy. That's a tricky game to me. At Morgantown, West Virginia, trying to finish 11-1. You think they're all right?
Perfectly fine.
Okay.
I won't even ask what the spread is. Lay the points.
Okay. All right.
They're going to put their foot down.
Miami's favored by a touchdown at Pitt.
At Pitt?
At Pitt, coming off a massive win.
Ooh.
That's a tough one. I'm going Canes.
You going Canes?
I'm going Canes.
How you feel about the points?
I think they win by a touchdown. So I think they cover by a 0.5 point.
I will go with you. I'll take Miami. I don't love it. I don't feel good about it.
Here's a massive game. Oregon at Washington, 3:30 CBS on Saturday in Seattle. Make no mistake. Think of any rivalry you know. This is a rivalry where they hate each other as much as any rivalry you're aware of. So this one will be chippy. Oregon coming off a massive win. Now a week later, they got to go take on their rival. Damon Williams could be an equalizer. I don't know. It's a Oregon favored by 6.5 on the road. and playing for their spot, either to get into Indy or as an at large. Obviously, they got to win this game.
I feel like this is one that you might be leaning for the upset. I'm going Oregon.
You're going Oregon or Washington?
I'm going Oregon.
Okay.
I feel like you.
Oh, me?
You.
No. I think I believe in Oregon, but I think it's going to be closer than 6.5. I think it's a close game.
So you want Washington plus the points?
Yep. But I think Oregon wins, but I think it's going to be close.
All right.
How about Vandy and Tennessee, Joey? 2.5. Tennessee's favored by 2.5 at home. That's an awesome game. 3:30 on ESPN Saturday.
You go first.
Oh my gosh. I want to think Pavia can finish this thing and go 10-2. I mean, he's got the personality and a team that's talented enough to do it. Tennessee is just saw Tennessee. I really like this team. I like Aguilar. I'm going Tennessee because they're at home to win that game. And I like a lot of points in that game.
I like it also. I'm going, and I was thinking the same thing. If this game was at Vandy, I would
Different
go
story.
Vandy. The fact that it's at Tennessee,
tough to win there. Yep.
I don't think that we're going to get as many cutaways because there won't be a group of, you know what I mean? Like they won't be able to keep the whole group together.
Yeah.
On the road. I like Tennessee also because
I think we're going to get a lot of cutaways because I think Vandy's going to be scoring. I just don't think they're going to score enough. So I think Pavia will play well. But I just don't think.
I think Pavia is going to play well too. I put a request in for me, please. Not as many cutaways. Just a couple.
I got you.
Not 30 of them.
And I'm calling this game Bama sitting there holding on for dear lives to being at large at Auburn. 7:30 Saturday night. ABC.
What's the line?
Bama by 5.5.
Ring it. Am I correct in lay the points? If I want Bama and I want to give away the 5.5, it's lay the points.
Yep. In a rivalry game. Okay.
Run it.
Okay. All right.
Run it.
Okay. All right. Let's hit some questions here in these final 8 minutes. We got 8 minutes to get to as many questions as we can. We could talk CFP. Our top 5, by the way, hasn't changed. We still feel kind of the same based on last weekend. Joey versus Kirk in a golf match in the off season. Well,
who's that? Tommy?
Here's the trick for me. I've got to build up some resiliency to get past the ninth hole. After the ninth hole, my brain goes into, I wonder what they got in there for lunch. I wonder if they got a sandwich. I wonder if we got like maybe a cool little bar. We're going to have a drink. What are we going to do at the turn? And I'll set up camp. Like when I golf, I'll go 9. So if we can have a 9-hole playoff, that'd be great. But I think if I go to 10 and beyond, Joey would destroy me.
Yeah, I'm going to destroy you either way. But before we got on, I was
how many rounds do you play a year? Seriously,
I don't know. I mean, because I play.
Guesstimate.
See, that's the thing. I don't really know. I would say, but I also play indoors in the wintertime. So like all those rounds. But I was telling Ty and Jake before you got on here. Now you almost took me down. If you remember when I was a rookie, we were in Arizona and we went to play Desert Mountain, and you had kept me up all night the night before. In the morning, we're going to play Desert Mountain. And yeah, we go out there and we teed off. Bobby Hoying was with us. We teed off.
Well, he's a pro.
But I outdrove him. I hammered one. By the time we got up to the ball, the sandwich cart had come around. And you started with your tricks. You were the first one to recognize the sandwich cart came around. And you're like,
well, that's the highlight of the golf.
You're like, we got sandwiches and left.
That was it.
We didn't pick up our ball. We got our sandwiches and left the golf course. I didn't play again. I didn't golf again until probably 15, 16. after I was done playing football, you retired me once with the sandwich cart. We left Desert Mountain because of you.
What?
And all these years later, I'm golfing again, and I will not let you take me down. I'm going 18. Let's get out and play in the offseason.
Now, when you play, you're okay to talk in the middle of the swings, right? Music on?
No.
Oh, really?
I do have a towel hanging from my belt.
But no music and no talking? You're
music,
focused?
yes. No talking. Look, listen, like us guys that take golf serious, we don't talk.
You can't burp in your backswing?
No, that's the kind of stuff you do to Darren Brown. I don't.
I take my club and I shadow over the ball.
Yeah, I don't know. See, you're jacking around. I'm out here being serious, and you're always jacking around. But let's play in the offseason.
This is the offseason. This is where I get serious. This is where
I go. Absolutely right. Get us on somewhere nice.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right.
If you get Jake and Ty and Chase and Zach into it, I'm all in. Get those boys going.
Yeah, but they don't want a piece of you young. You know what I mean? They got to wait till they get older to deal with you. I made the mistake of playing with you when I was younger, and you almost took me down. They got to wait till they get older and they can deal with your antics. Like, hey, we're not listening.
I also like to get like 40 feet away from the hole randomly and just let's have a putt off, like a putting contest.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not serious. Get us on a nice place.
Pebble. Let's do Pebble. We're allowed to go over there, right?
Yeah, I think it's
Is it public?
I think it's public. I think so.
Fitting can get you on nice places. He can hook you up.
Oh, Fitting. He's in the top place.
I think he belongs to every club there is.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. What team in the current CFP top 12 could be a sleeper team? I love that question. Could be a sleeper team by the time we get into the postseason. Who could be a sleeper? Let's look at last week's rankings.
I think it's kind of a tough question because inside the top 12, those aren't sleepers. But let me say this. I'm going to take the first crack at this before you say something.
Yep.
A team that doesn't get enough respect, I guess, is Texas Tech. Like, we know they're good, but I think because they're in the Big 12, when we start talking about our rankings, you guys talk Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Georgia. You even throw some Ole Miss in there just because of Lane Kiffin.
Or Oregon even.
Oregon now. And I feel like you guys keep skipping over my Texas Tech.
All I've done is brag about Texas Tech since I got back from Lubbock.
I just called them. Back off. Get your own top 12.
I called them. You were done with you. They're my team.
You're out. I got them. Who else do you like?
I don't know how you pick a team. I guess, the group of five's always, I think you're right. Texas Tech's a little bit. Would Oklahoma be a team that would be kind of considered a little bit off the radar? Would Notre Dame be that team that's a little bit off the radar?
I think
how about SMU if they win the ACC championship? They'd be off the radar.
Yeah, I think if you're talking Notre Dame and Oklahoma, I think Oklahoma's more off the radar just because we've had so many conversations about Notre Dame, Miami. But either way, stay off my Red Raider.
I got you. You're a Red Raider. Has Joey got himself a golden retriever yet?
I have not.
Your boys deserve a golden retriever.
Hey, listen, I got 3 boys.
I know.
When I'm telling you,
I'm going to bring Peter over to visit the boys.
You can't keep the house clean. See, your boys are older now. It's different. My boys are still, every light in the house is on. If anything they touch stays exactly where they touched it.
Oh, it's fun.
That's me. You add a dog in this situation.
But would they like a dog? You think they'd like a dog?
They would love a dog, but then I would have to go
Peter
live.
Over.
I would have to live out in the golf shed. Let the dog and the kids have the house. I'm moving out because it would be way too much for me to deal with.
Well, I'm bringing Peter over. I'm going to talk to the boys about it. By the way, your card is on fire. Your card on the video game? Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Look how sweet you look in that uni.
That's hilarious. On the video game, I'm on fire?
Yeah. They gave you the same speed as Fred Biletnikoff. I swear. I swear, dude.
That's not nice.
I know.
That's not right.
I know. There it is.
Fred
That's Freddie.
Biletnikoff.
That's you and Freddie right there. 92 speed.
How dare,
bro?
Do you know
if
these
you
people
can't have 100 speed, how do they even do speeds?
Can you call them?
What was your 40? What was your 40 time?
4-1 something.
4:18.
How many people do you know have run a 4-1 something?
We got you at a 92. Kid.
Here I am, me and Fred Biletnikoff.
Right there.
92 speed.
92. You and Freddie. All right, we got to go.
It's not
I
nice.
just want to leave you on that. See you guys.